Hey guys, how's it going? So, I actually wrote the script immediately after the release of Britomart and then just never got around to recording it. So, while I'm a little late to the party and the drama that surrounded her, I'll be tackling her tale today. Me personally, I have a soft spot for monster girls of all kinds. This includes elves, and Britomart looks and acts like she has a single brain cell bouncing around her head like the DVD logo. For that, I love her already. So, today I want to take a deep dive into the lore of the Greek goddess turned fairy, Britomart. Britomart, also known as Britomartis and Dictyana, which I did not say correctly, has its origins in ancient Greek mythology. She was primarily worshipped in Crete, where she acted similar to the goddess Artemis. Her name means sweet maiden in the Cretan dialect. As for her other name, Dictyana, this is because she is sometimes portrayed as the goddess of Dict, which is the mountain where Zeus was born. Something to keep in mind that is explicitly stated is that Britomart and Artemis were not the same deity in a different region. The two goddesses did supposedly get on well with each other, likely due to similar tastes and personalities. She was said to be the daughter of Zeus and the inventor of the hunting net. Despite this, it is believed that she left Crete during the reign of Minos, as Minos himself attempted to have his way with her, and she thus fled to the island by escaping with some fishermen's nets. They then brought her to Greece, where her cult gained a new following. But as far as legends attributed to her, that's kind of where it ends. Despite being the daughter of Zeus, she didn't perform any major heroic exploits in the Greek myth. Where she gets an opportunity to shine, however, and where her rendition in fate seems to be inspired by, is Edmund Spenser's epic, The Faerie Queene. Now, The Faerie Queene is a hell of a poem. It's one of the longest ones in English, being made up of 6 different parts, and was written as a critique of Queen Elizabeth I. Each book centers on a particular knight and a virtue that is tied to them, and their exploits to defend the virtue. Britomart is the Knight of Chastity, and appears in the 3rd part of this story. Britomart is first encountered by the heroes of the 2nd part, Sir Guyon and Arthur. Yes, that Arthur. They take grievance with the fact that she is making her squire carry her heavy shield, to which she takes up arms. She jousts against Guyon and defeats him because she has an enchanted lance that always defeats its target. Once defeated, they demand to know who the mysterious knight is, and she reveals herself to be Britomart. Intrigued, they ride along together for a while until she spots a maiden being pursued by a forester. She breaks rank to follow and is led to a strange castle. There, she sees a knight fighting a battle alone against 6 others. Feeling a sense of purpose, she joins the fight in defense of the loner, who is revealed to be the Red Cross Knight, the hero of the 1st part. He tells her that he was being forced into love with a woman that others had picked rather than the one who he truly loved. The 6 knights defend this by saying that all who come to this castle must either devote themselves to the mistress here or defeat the 6 of them in battle. Thus, Britomart takes up the challenge and manages to dispatch 3 of the knights alone, with the Red Cross Knight taking care of the 4th while the other 2 surrender. Upon being defeated, the 6 knights and mistress of the castle are now loyal to Britomart. They are directed to their rooms by the mistress, and while the Red Cross Knight treats himself to his wounds and undresses, Britomart remains fully armored so as not to reveal that she is a woman. They are invited to eat, and Britomart still refuses to remove her armor. This gets the attention of the mistress, who falls in love with her. Despite multiple attempts to get Britomart to sleep with her, Britomart merely replies that love shouldn't be offered to any passing stranger and goes to bed late in the night. Despite this, the mistress attempts to slip into bed with her, to which she wakes up and grabs for her sword, causing the mistress to faint. The ruckus wakes the others, who find Britomart holding a sword to the mistress, wearing only a white fringe. One shoots at her with an arrow that draws blood, and the treachery of the act enrages her to attack them with the help of the Red Cross Knight. After defeating them all, they leave the castle. She then tells the Red Cross Knight of her history, that she saw the reflection of a man in her father's magic mirror and instantly fell in love with him. As such, she was on a quest to meet her destined lover, another knight named Artegall. The Red Cross Knight knows him and assures her that she is mistaken. She responds by saying that she is looking for Merlin, who has a magic crystal that shows the past and future. They find him hidden in a cave, and reveals to her that Artegall was stolen away by an elf to the land of the Fae, and that she should find him, marry him, and bang a lot so they can make a bunch of English monarchs. That's not an exaggeration, that's just what's written but said more crassly. Her endgame is literally a Dogen plot, but at least it's a good one. After this encounter, she returns home and gets her old maid to be her squire, and gets new armor and gear before setting off to the land of the Fae. She and the Red Cross Knight go their separate ways, but agree to a lasting mutual friendship. She sets off to sea, where she pauses a moment to think about the loneliness of the place, which is the origin of this painting, which I have seen for years and had no idea who was in it. She is interrupted by a knight saying that if she doesn't leave, she'll be killed, and as a result, she refuses and runs him through with her lance. Turns out, the knight was prophesied to be killed by a woman, and a bunch of water fairies take him to the sea god to be saved. Fast forward a bit in the story, and you see 3 other knights seeking shelter in a castle. They have been denied entry because the owner fears that they will steal his wife. A 4th knight joins them and is told to leave, to which the knight declares that he will join them or remove them. So one of the knights, Paradel, takes up arms against the stranger and is immediately knocked off his horse. The castle's owner then opens the gate and apologizes. The 4 knights remove their armor in the castle, and the mysterious 4th is Britomart. Turns out the castle owner had a reason to be suspicious because the wife is exchanging glances with Paradel. Britomart and one of the other knights, Saturaine, leave the following morning together as Paradel claims his injuries need to be nursed further if you catch my drift. The two encounter a giant and decide to attack it, and get split up in the process. Britomart finds a crying knight named Scudamore, whose maiden, arms, and armor had been stolen by an evil sorcerer who was torturing her in his dungeon. Britomart vows to get her back for him or die trying. She is taken to the sorcerer's castle, which has no doors or windows but a massive flaming maw. Using her shield, she jumps through it and it allows her through but closes itself off to Scudamore. The castle has a great hall covered in tapestries of adultery caused by Cupid. As the day turns to night, a series of natural disasters occur all around her when suddenly a bunch of horrifying apparitions appear, guided by a man who gestures and talks in silence named Ease. In this ghoulish parade as well are 2 women, whose hearts have been carved out of their breasts and placed onto a silver disc. Cupid riding in while blindfolded, and various figures representing the side effects of false love. They all then go through the door, which locks, trapping her. The next night when the door opens again, she runs through it. While none of the apparitions from before are present, she does find the woman with her heart on the plate and the sorcerer. The sorcerer attempts to finish off his captive but is stopped by Britomart. She nearly kills him but is stopped by the knight's lover, who tells her that he needs to undo the curse on her. She threatens the sorcerer's life if he doesn't undo the curse, and holds him at sword point until he does so. Then, she and the lover leave the castle together, but find neither Scudamore or her nurse Squire. That's where part 3 and her main focus ends. She does manage to save her lover, and mothers a lineage of English monarchs, which is why it is the standardized business language of the world today. But now I ask of you, does this all sound familiar? Britomart is by no means a fully original character. For longtime listeners of my videos, and those that are just familiar with the characters of The Matter of France, Britomart is directly comparable to that story's and Chaldea's very own Bradamante. The only difference between the two is that Britomart hides her gender more often than not, but the characters share so much in common that it is beyond coincidental. From possessing a lance that always defeats its target, to being virginal, to pursuing a lover that is missing, to being destined to create a long lineage of successful rulers, and even meeting Merlin, Britomart is just Bradamante. The kicker with this is that Lasangel was aware of this and made her kit strikingly similar as well, with the only real difference being that Britomart's was made 4 years after Brad's, and as such has a much better kit. From a historical perspective, this is by no means an unheard of thing, but this one is essentially like slapping a new title on a product and releasing it later down the line. That said, the story that they share is still fairly interesting and well written, so I suppose I'll let it slide. It is also worth mentioning that the servant that we summon as Britomart is not the actual Britomart. She is one of her descendants who is honoring her mother's memory by donning the armor. This explains to a degree why the Knight of Chastity shows up like this. But that is it. Britomart in the books. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you want to suggest a character for me to cover, leave that down there as well. Do all the YouTube stuff. Check out my links below for my Twitch, Discord, and Twitter. For now though guys, keep your chin up. Peace.